All right, so kickstarting our deep dive, we've got the absolute legend, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson himself, weighing in with his expert reflections on the highly anticipated Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan rematch. This isn't just any fight, it's a clash that has everyone in the MMA world talking, and Mighty Mouse, with his unparalleled fight IQ, is breaking down exactly what's at stake and how he's truly feeling about it. Now, Johnson couldn't help but notice the palpable tension simmering between these two incredible fighters, a classic rivalry that definitely adds so much spice to the octagon. But here's what really caught his attention. Merab's incredibly quick turnaround time. Mighty Mouse admitted it left him feeling a bit unsure, almost like some of Merab's mystique, that aura of invincibility, was slightly diminished by jumping straight back into the fray so fast. He even drew a compelling comparison to another explosive talent, Ilia Topuria, explaining that when a fighter is constantly active, it naturally reduces the suspense and thrilling anticipation fans usually feel for their next appearance. And that's not all. Johnson astutely pointed out that such a rapid turnaround also severely limits a fighter's precious time to meticulously develop new skills or strategically add new tools to their already impressive arsenal, potentially hindering their evolution in the cage. Despite those reservations, Demetrius Johnson made his pick crystal clear. He's backing Merab Dvalishvili to take the win in this rematch. His unwavering confidence stems from Merab's seemingly unparalleled ability to meticulously control every single moment of a fight. Johnson emphasized that Merab genuinely understands the intricate game of MMA inside and out. From the strategic grappling to the calculated striking, and that profound understanding and inner confidence shine through every single second he spends in the cage. Considering Merab already holds a definitive win over Petr Yan from their previous encounter, Johnson fully expects him to repeat that impressive result, a victory that would firmly cement his status among the absolute elite, placing him shoulder to shoulder with other top-tier fighters in the world, like the dominant Islam Makhachev and the electrifying Ilia Topuria. Switching gears, we've got the always insightful Michael Bisping, a former champion himself, offering his sharp analysis on precisely what Petr Yan desperately needs to execute in order to succeed in this high-stakes rematch against the relentless Merab Dvalishvili. Bisping hammered home one critical point. Yan absolutely has to start this fight like a house on fire, and crucially avoid falling behind early, especially when you're talking about a grueling 5-round war. The Count vividly explained that Yan often takes his time to really find his rhythm and download his opponent's tendencies, which might work perfectly fine in a shorter 3-round bout. But against a whirlwind like Merab, allowing him to gain even a slight early mental edge could prove to be incredibly costly, potentially snowballing into an insurmountable lead as the rounds tick by. Now, let's bring in some other championship voices as Henry Cejudo and Kamaru Usman reflected on a Petr Yan fight, and Cejudo had some truly mind-blowing comments about it. He boldly declared that Yan's knockout in that specific bout would undoubtedly go down as one of the most impressively stunning turnarounds we've witnessed in recent MMA history. Usman, ever the pragmatist, was quick to remind Cejudo and us that despite any challenges, Yan has consistently remained a very serious contender in the division, truly a force to be reckoned with. Cejudo then elaborated, adding that even though Yan had seemingly been controlled in their previous encounter, his win over Merab firmly rocketed him right back into legitimate title contention, proving his undeniable resilience and championship pedigree. Meanwhile, the intimidating Jan Blachowicz chimed in, sharing his genuine fondness for the beautiful country of Georgia, a place he's actually had the pleasure of visiting himself. And what's even more exciting is that he noted both he and Merab would be competing on the very same stacked event, setting the stage for an incredible night of fights. Blachowicz didn't stop there. He also extended a high compliment to Merab's relentless fighting approach, openly stating that he truly enjoys watching and appreciating his unique, high-pressure style inside the cage, acknowledging the sheer skill and determination that Merab brings to every single performance. Next up, the Sugar Show himself, Sean O'Malley, delivered his characteristic breakdown of the Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan rematch, pinpointing exactly what makes Yan such a dangerous force inside the octagon. O'Malley specifically highlighted Yan's blistering speed, his incredibly precise counter-striking ability, and his undeniable willingness to fearlessly trade heavy shots, all of which combined to make him a genuinely perilous opponent for anyone standing across from him. However, O'Malley believed that Merab kept a crucial upper hand throughout, largely by managing to stay incredibly composed and perhaps, more importantly, by avoiding any hint of overconfidence. He credited Merab's exceptional fight IQ for his masterful ability to effectively manage Yan's dangerous attacks, strategically navigating the storm, and ultimately coming out on top. "Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm thinking," declared the incredible Max Holloway, as he then launched into a passionate praise of Merab Dvalishvili's truly elite-level cardio. He marveled at Merab's relentless, constant forward pressure, a style that he candidly called extremely frustrating for any opponent who has to face it. Holloway elaborated, explaining that Merab possesses this uncanny ability to keep relentlessly coming forward even after seemingly failed takedown attempts, immediately transitioning back into striking with potent force. This creates an almost impossible dilemma for defensive fighters. How do you respond effectively without risking yet another smothering takedown? Holloway asserted that Merab has absolutely mastered this unique skill set, making him an incredibly tough fighter to bet against. He then confidently predicted a win for Merab, and here's the kicker. He expressed a hopeful wish that Merab would go on to make history, potentially becoming the very first champion to defend his belt an astounding 4 times in a single year, an absolutely incredible feat that would solidify his legacy. Joining the chorus of admiration, former UFC champion Jamahal Hill couldn't contain his excitement for the upcoming fight, and without hesitation, he picked Merab Dvalishvili to emerge victorious. Going so far as to call him one of his favorite people in the sport, Hill articulated a powerful belief that Merab operates on an entirely different echelon compared to most champions, suggesting there's perhaps the largest gap between him and his competition. He emphatically noted that, in his opinion, only dominant figures like Islam Makhachev and the dynamic Ilia Topuria currently reside in a similar elite tier of their own. Jamahal also openly expressed his deep admiration for Georgian fighters in general, passionately stating his desire to someday visit Georgia to meet these incredible athletes and connect with them in person. However, offering a crucial counter-perspective, the respected coach Tim Welch issued a stern warning to Merab. Do not, under any circumstances, underestimate Petr Yan. He pointed out that far too many people were prematurely counting Yan out of this rematch, a dangerous mistake. Welch then shed some vital light on their first encounter, explaining that Yan had been significantly limited by a nagging hand injury, which directly impacted his notorious power. Furthermore, Welch highlighted a potential vulnerability in Merab Dvalishvili's otherwise aggressive style, noting that when he's wildly swinging for knockouts, as seen in a recent flurry against Corey Sandhagen, he can leave himself exposed. And here's where Yan comes in. Welch emphasized that Yan's renowned boxing precision, especially with those unforgiving small gloves, gives him a genuine high-percentage chance to exploit precisely those kinds of openings. In a similar vein, an astute MMA guru voiced his incredulity, openly questioning why Merab Dvalishvili was being established as such an astronomically heavy favorite over Petr Yan, going as far as to label the betting odds insane. He conceded that while Merab did indeed pressure Yan relentlessly with over 50 takedowns in their initial clash, Yan, in the guru's view, had subsequently added more striking sense to his game, a strategic development that he believed would inevitably make this rematch a far more competitive affair. He also reaffirmed that Merab undeniably remains an extremely tough and physically dominant force, but he was quick to laud Yan's exceptional defensive grappling prowess, specifically noting that Yan had done a truly masterful job defending the vast majority of Merab's takedowns, a defensive skill level only perhaps outdone by a legendary figure like Jose Aldo. Continuing his analysis, the MMA guru went on to predict an incredibly close fight, ultimately expecting Merab Dvalishvili to once again emerge with his hand raised. However, he anticipated that Yan would certainly have some very strong moments throughout the contest, particularly with his devastating body shots, but the guru ultimately didn't see Yan managing to secure a finish. He envisioned both fighters remaining standing by the final bell, drawing a compelling comparison to Merab's previous grueling battle with Umar Nurmagomedov. Yet, in this rematch, he predicted slightly clearer striking opportunities for Yan in specific rounds, allowing him to truly showcase his boxing. Despite this, Merab was still expected to consistently display his characteristic sharp, controlled moments of dominance throughout the entirety of the fight. Meanwhile, Ilyas Zibi offered his perspective, finding the Merab Dvalishvili versus Yan rematch to be utterly enticing, a unique way of expressing just how intriguing this matchup truly is. He made a crucial observation, noting that Yan hadn't really utilized his powerful right hand much at all in their first fight, a detail that could potentially make this upcoming bout feel entirely different, a whole new challenge. Zabi fully expected Merab to face a significantly tougher takedown challenge this time around, acknowledging Yan's defensive improvements. However, despite that, he still firmly believed that Merab was in absolutely excellent form and remained an incredibly tough opponent for anyone brave enough to step into the octagon with him. Adding to the expert commentary, Anthony Hernandez's highly respected coach Jim West emphatically stated that it was incredibly hard to bet against Merab Dvalishvili. He showered praise on Merab's remarkable ability to effortlessly frustrate opponents, specifically naming Yan as someone who often falls victim to this relentless style. West acknowledged the undeniable fact that Yan was entering this rematch in a healthier physical state, which could certainly make a difference. However, he firmly believed that Merab's innate intelligence and his unwavering composure were the defining factors that made him exceptionally difficult to beat. West highlighted Merab's strategic brilliance, noting that he simply never gets drawn into an opponent's preferred game. Ultimately, he predicted a fiercely competitive fight, but with Merab undeniably prevailing once again. Lastly, we heard from Michael Aswell, who openly leaned towards picking Merab Dvalishvili. His inclination, he explained, was partly influenced by his positive personal interactions with Merab and the time they shared at Syndicate, giving him a unique insider's perspective. He then playfully revealed that Yan happened to be Josh's favorite fighter, a detail that Aswell felt added an unpredictable layer to the entire matchup, making it even more compelling. Aswell expressed a genuine desire to witness a truly great fight unfold, and he was particularly curious to see exactly how Yan would manage to adjust his strategy against the formidable Merab, who by all accounts remained in absolutely excellent form and at the peak of his fighting prowess. So, that wraps up everything we've gathered for you in today's video, and we sincerely hope you found all these insights and expert opinions thoroughly enjoyable and super informative. We absolutely love hearing from you, so please don't be shy, share all your thoughts, predictions, and reactions in the comments section down below. And if you want to stay completely in the loop with all the latest, most exciting updates about the UFC, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat.